Welcome to our channel, a place where amazing stories come to life, taking you on a journey of love, excitement, and adventure. Are you ready for an unforgettable experience? Then stay with us. Love Story, Under the Paris Rain. Part 1, A Meeting, on a rainy day. The soft rain fell gently on the cobblestone streets of Paris. The sky was gray, but the city remained, vibrant and breathtaking. Elia held her red umbrella tightly as she walked through the crowded streets. She loved books, and every day after work, she would visit a small cafe near the Seine River to spend a few hours reading. As she walked, a sudden gust of wind blew, snatching the umbrella from her hands. Her heart sank. The umbrella twirled through the air and landed right at the feet of a man wearing a long, black coat. The man picked it up, looked at Elia, and smiled softly. "I believe this belongs to you." His voice was warm and deep, like the melody of an old violin. Elia took the umbrella with slightly trembling hands, and for a brief moment, she saw his eyes, deep, green, and shining, as if they held the secrets of another world. "Thank you." The man nodded and walked away, without another word. But Elia felt something strange. It was as if this simple encounter was not just a coincidence. That night, as she sat in her usual cafe, she found herself unable to focus on the book in her hands. The image of the man with green eyes and a quiet smile would not leave her mind. The next morning, as she walked down the same street, she heard a familiar voice. "You again?" Surprised, Elia looked up. The man stood there, this time holding a single white flower in his hand. "Maybe this time we won't let the wind take anything away from us." Elia smiled, feeling warmth spread through her heart. But she had no idea that this meeting would change her life forever. Part 2, A Melody, at Dusk. Elia looked at the man with hesitation. A light drizzle fell, and the streets of Paris shimmered under the evening glow. She slowly took the white flower, inhaling its soft scent, and asked, "What is this for?" The man smiled and said, "For saving your umbrella." Elia laughed. Her laughter was soft, like raindrops against a window. She felt that this man was not just an ordinary passer-by. "At least, can I know your name?" The man paused briefly before not answering. "Adrian." Even his name sounded beautiful to her. They stopped in front of a small cafe. The air was filled with the rich aroma of fresh coffee. Adrian gestured toward the wooden door and said, "Would you like to have a coffee with me?" Elia hesitated, but something in Adrian's eyes reassured her. They stepped inside, sat by a window, and the soft notes of a piano melody played in the background. "So, Elia, what brings you to this street?" Elia smiled and said, "I come here every day after work. I love reading in cafes." Adrian nodded and said, "So you love stories?" "Yes, stories make me feel alive." Adrian leaned in slightly and said, "If you love stories, then maybe you'll believe that sometimes they happen in real life too." Elia met his gaze. It was as if this sentence carried a truth she hadn't fully understood yet. A quiet moment passed between them. Adrian picked up his coffee cup and said, "I want to show you something. Tonight on this street, by the Pont Saint-Louis. Will you come?" Elia hesitated, but for the first time in a long while, her heart told her to say yes. Part 3, A Story that became real. Elia stood by the Pont Saint-Louis. The rain had stopped, but the night air still carried a fresh scent. The street lights cast a soft glow over the Seine, and the city was wrapped in a poetic silence. Suddenly, a familiar voice pulled her from her thoughts. "You came." Elia turned and saw Adrian. He was wearing the same long black coat, but this time he was holding something, a worn leather notebook. "What is this?" Adrian smiled and handed it to her. "A story that began a long time ago." Elia opened the notebook. The pages were filled with words, but one name stood out the most: Elia. Her heart pounded. You wrote this about me? But why?" Adrian took a deep breath and said, "Because from the moment I saw you, I knew this wasn't just an ordinary meeting. You are the one I've always searched for in my stories." For a moment, Elia couldn't speak. The silence between them was filled with something sweet and mysterious. A gentle breeze passed again, but this time nothing was lost. Elia smiled, stepped closer, and said, "Maybe you're right. Maybe some stories really do come to life." Adrian reached out his hand. Elia placed hers in his. And in that moment, the story that had begun on a rainy day became the most beautiful truth of their lives. Thank you, dear listeners, for joining us and listening to this beautiful story. We hope you enjoyed every moment and felt the emotions within. If you loved the story, don't forget to follow the channel and share your thoughts with us. Stay tuned for more amazing stories.